So what became of Clayton Campeau? Well, he's 33 years old when he was facing second-degree murder and attempted murder charges. 8 years after the 46-year-old Winnipeg man had been gunned down during a New Year's Eve party in his North End home, a longtime gang member was sentenced to life in prison for that murder. Although he told police he wasn't the shooter, Clayton Campeau was 39 by this point, pled guilty to second-degree murder, and that was in the December 31st, 2011 shooting of Michael Sinclair, who was hit by gunshots fired through the back window of a home in Selkirk Avenue. He'd been answering the back door when shots were fired. No one saw the shooter. The Crown Prosecutor, Brent Davison, told court, Queen's Bench, that he told that to Justice Sadie Bond, and Bond accepted a joint recommendation from Davidson and the defense lawyer, who was Jeremy Kostyk, to impose a minimum 10 years parole eligibility along with an automatic life sentence. The judge described it as a lenient sentence for this type of offense, but one that's appropriate in this case. So he got the mandatory minimum on a second-degree body. Campeau's own statement to police implicated him in the murder, although he told investigators he was the shooter's driver. So he was talking. Longtime gang member, involved in several murders, got picked up by police, and he told them that he was the driver on that murder. So he talked to police in May 2013. He'd already been arrested and charged with Sinclair's murder in 2012. Police zeroed in on Campeau thanks to a tip from a jailhouse informant, an unreliable witness who wouldn't have held up in court, Davidson, the lawyer, acknowledged. So Monday, charges against Campeau were upgraded to first-degree murder in that situation after he talked to police. But the lawyer said the evidence supports a second-degree conviction. The alleged shooter Campeau, named in his statement to police, will not be prosecuted for murder, Davidson said. So I guess he said he's trying to put the body on somebody. So he's like, yeah, I was driving and this guy did it. And they're like, okay, well, you were driving, so you admitted to it. And he's like, well, what about the guy that I said did it? We don't. Well, you worry about yourself. So telling gone wrong. I guess he tried to spin it, but really severely backfired on him because he was facing a first-degree murder. And the lawyer's like, no, second degree, if anything. Like, at this point, he's pretty cooked. So he says it's not often that the Crown stands before the court prosecuting a party to an offense where the principal offender, based upon the evidence, will not be prosecuted. The reason for that is because Mr. Campeau does not have serious credibility concerns himself, and independent corroboration based on the investigation that was completed by the Winnipeg Police has been unable to confirm certain important details of the matter respecting as Mr. Campeau's involvement. Was Mr. Campeau the principal offender, or was he involved as he says he was? Davidson said. He was clearly involved as an individual who intended grievous bodily harm and was reckless whether death ensued. Over the years, the case faced several delays and different defense lawyers took on the file on Campeau's behalf. He offered to plead guilty in 2016, but that plea bargain fell apart. Legal motions challenging unreasonable delay of the case, attempting to have Campeau's video statement inadmissible was rejected by the judge, and he eventually just pled guilty. So he told the judge he joined the Indian Posse gang when he was 11 or 12 years old and grew up a part of it. He's no longer involved in the gang and may have to be kept in segregation in prison to avoid rival gangs as well as his former Indian Posse members, courts heard. He said his focus now is being a good father. So he says, I understand the life sentence. I understand when I go for parole, they might not give it to me. And I understand it's going to be on me till the day I die, as far as the life tag. And the fact he's a murderer. But my kids, I'll work hard for them till the day I die, Campeau said. So, Clayton Campeau. It seems that Clayton Campeau was decorated child soldier, among many others committing murders in the North End neighborhoods of Winnipeg. Clayton Campeau appeared to be involved in gang murders in that area as early as 2006 until late as New Year's Day 2012, and was on the streets up until his arrest in February 2013. Could someone similar to him in the streets been shooting at a house in the vicinity and missed hitting Tiffany? His modus operandi was to knock on the door of rival gang houses and shoot whomever happened to open the door. Clayton Campeau was the type of gangster who may very well have shot a 13-year-old girl for no other reason than she was among a group of people wearing certain colors in a certain neighborhood. We know that Benjamin Kachkan had no shortage of enemies after falling out of favor with the Zig Zag gang. Clayton, or anyone similar to him, would definitely have seen him as opposition and potential prey if he came across him in the neighborhood. It's neither alleged nor certainly not proven that Clayton or anyone else had anything to do with those unsolved murders. There were similarities between all of those murders and the murder that he was ultimately convicted of, but that's just it. There's going to be similarities when there's thousands of Clayton Campeau clones out there riding bicycles in the North End every day, armed to the teeth, killing without hesitation. The frightening aspect is that they may never find the remains afterwards. They may never solve it either. Clayton was in the police face, telling on somebody, saying they were the real shooter. It's unclear whether that was Daryl Lavallee or whether he cooperated in the case, as he was never sentenced for accessory in the 2006 murder despite being charged. Clayton has his own children now. Their father is in prison with a life sentence for one of several murders and attempted murders he stood accused of. The likelihood of them becoming child soldiers themselves is towards the high end of the spectrum. Perhaps, if Clayton is granted parole in 2029 after a Gladue report, he can steer them onto the right path as a devoted father. The shelf life of a child soldier is typically much shorter than Campeau's spanning career on the streets of the North End selling drugs for the Indian Posse Street Gang. In a kill or be killed path, it's no surprise he chose the former over the latter. At some point, after becoming a father, he indicates that he's disillusioned and decided to hang up his sword, leave the gang, perhaps even find his own way to a new path down the red road. Sometimes, when you come from the bottom, the only place to go is up. Winnipegology.